Why do you overthink everything? Oh, that is a really good question. Okay, do I overthink a lot? I do. I do overthink, but I do not. I don't know. Yeah. I think a lot. I think a lot, but not overthink. Yeah. What do you mean by overthink? Okay. So, usually is this thing that when you are thinking about one subject a lot, that is called overthinking. But it didn't really happen to me. I think a lot in multiple subjects, multiple thoughts, multiple things, and something like that. Yeah, I think a lot, yes, but usually I don't know, yaar. Maybe just like that. Now I don't really have that frame of reference that I think this much and other people think that much. So mostly I was kind of like overthink. I don't know. I don't really have that much kind of like somebody overthinking a lot. Or like I don't really have that kind of like somebody frame of reference to be considered that am I kind of like overthinking or not. Okay, yeah, but let's accept this thing ki do I kind of like overthink a lot. Like let's ask this question to myself ki am I overthink a lot? I am not. Yeah, like basically I'm kind of like thinking of from every point of perspective and every possible result which has actually happened with me, and I consider that I haven't really that much overthink. Okay, yeah. Let me tell you one thing. The things that you are actually hearing called artifact episode is a kind of like a some self talk. Okay, yeah. I'm kind of like doing this thing since 2015 every single day. Every single day means like that. After I ate my dinner, I usually came at my rooftop and I usually kind of like a talk about kind of like a stuff is actually happened with me and something like that. Like I asked bunch of questions to myself, and this kind of like a something really helped me a lot. Okay, yeah, because of that because of this process, because of this kind of like a technique, I'm kind of like a something expressing whatever the thoughts inside of my head, and I just express a lot. Okay, yeah. So during this process I didn't really have any kind of like a something burden inside of me. So it's kind of like a something that I'm literally kind of like a something release all the stress and all the kind of like a something thought process inside of me in this recording artifact. Okay, yeah. So because of that I haven't really that much think a lot. Like whatever the things I just express in here, and like I don't really have any kind of like a doubt, or I don't really have any kind of like a stuff to say, nothing really at all. I just kind of like something express in here, so which is kind of like something very cool. Okay, yeah. So because of this process I usually very less a thing. Okay, yeah. And as also let me tell you one thing. Overthinking is actually happen when there is a some sort of thing action, like when there is a kind of like some bad consequences happen, when you are kind of like overthink a lot in that particular situation. You overthink a lot. Okay, yeah. How is this thing like when the bad thing is actually happen, how is kind of like somebody considered as a overthink? Okay, let me give you an example already, yeah. So recently you went through breakup. Okay, yeah. Or like not breakup, sorry, suddenly like basically you are liking particular girl. Okay, yeah. And she also like you. Okay, yeah. You've been together for almost like a month, and suddenly she's actually started ghosting to you. Okay, yeah. And you are kind of like a thinking that why, what is actually happened, why kind of like she's actually ghosting me. Like you are kind of like a giving message or kind of like but she never really reply anything at all. You was kind of like a thinking a lot. Or maybe she, like you are went through kind of like a breakup, and you are kind of like a thinking about every point of perspective that why this kind of like a breakup happened, what kind of like a something is this thing, that thing, that thing, that thing. Okay, yeah. In this particular situation you overthink a lot. Okay, yeah, because you think about every point of perspective. Another example is that suddenly your company fired you, or kind of like a somebody is this thing that in the company the most of the people got promoted but you didn't really promote. Okay, yeah. So it's a kind of like a somebody that you are thinking that why I'm not really promoted, why is kind of like a somebody stuff happened with me. So in that particular situation you are thinking about every point of perspective. Okay, yeah, why this thing happened, why this that thing happened, and something like that. Okay, in that particular situation you overthink a lot. Yeah, because you are kind of like a thinking on one subject a lot. It's actually happened with me. Like a same thing happened like when I was doing a job. Like all the people got the promoted. Like basically my junior got the promoted, but I haven't really got the promoted when I was doing a job. So it felt me really wrong. I was actually thinking so much. So yeah, at that point I was kind of like overthink a lot. But right now it's not, because usually let me tell you one thing, overthink is actually happen when there is a bad consequences happen. And like from past, like a past couple of year, it was not really bad consequences happen. Okay, yeah. like basically I would kind of like consider as a bad consequences, means like that yeah, I'm kind of like a doing a content creation on YouTube platform for past almost like a 4 year. I'm not actually earning any kind of like a simply money, so I would kind of like consider as a bad consequences. But no, I was kind of like a learn from all those things. Okay, yeah, because let me tell you one thing, in the office culture, you don't really know what is actually mistake is actually happened, so you are kind of like a thinking a lot. But in the YouTube platform, you kind of like understand that what is actually mistake. Okay, like basically within a couple of days you just find out that what is actually mistake happened, and you just try to fix that mistake as much as you can. So yeah, like the transparency is actually happened in the online kind of like a creating content is a kind of like a simply far more better than the kind of like a simply doing a job. Okay, because in the job there is a multiple kind of like a filter, like a vice president, president, then manager, and then team leader, and then employee, and everything, and someone is kind of like a hiding from some sort of thing. So transparency is kind of like a little less. Okay, so you don't really know what is actually mistake that you are gonna happen, so probably you are thinking a lot. So yeah, usually is this thing ki from last couple of days, I like last couple of years, I haven't really faced that much bad consequences. So probably I am not really feel that much. I didn't really feel that much kind of like overthink. Okay, yeah. But let me tell you one thing, in the future I might gonna have kind of like a handle some sort of a position. Okay, yeah. And I will gonna have a lot of stress and things like that. So in that particular situation I might gonna overthink a lot, but still I have kind of like some sort of technique called artifact that I already mentioned. Because of this thing I kind of like express a lot, so it never really bothered to me. And as also because of this thing I also take decision very wisely regarding about the every point of perspective. So yeah, it might gonna really help me a lot. Okay, yeah. So let's talk about overthink that key like when I was doing a job, and when I'm kind of like a went through a lot of stress and things like that, I'm actually overthink a lot. But right now I'm not really that much overthink. Okay, yeah. Should I end here? Yeah, I have to end here. Okay, this is it. Thank you.